Corey is here. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you.
Hello, Corey.
Hi, Corey.
Hello. Okay, so what are we going to do this evening?
No idea.
How to narrow down our topics.
Well, I had some, well, first of all, it's now been what, a few days since, when did we last meet?
Last week?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, now, I would love to be absolutely sure that I'm talking to people who understand what action research is. So, actually, I won't go there yet. So, talk to me about your understanding of what action research is. Corey.
From what I understand, I've watched a lot of the videos that introduce a lot of that over the weekend and this week. It's just conducting research based on yourself and how you operate to find, or like finding a need, I think, that you have in like something you need to improve, and then doing the research, first of all, to just see where you're at, and then to look at how other people have done things to improve whatever it is, and finding ways to apply that then to improve your practice.
Yeah. One thing we didn't talk about last time was ethics.
Yes.
Now, on the Moodle page, you'll find a fair bit about ethics, and I would encourage you, when you start thinking about your methodology of how you're going to collect information, collect data, you must make sure that you don't decide that you're going to do a project that requires research with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in our present climate with COVID and all that, that's probably not going to be an issue that is front of mind. But don't think about going in there and, say, interviewing kids or doing anything that involves direct research with kids. Otherwise, you'll be up for a full-blown ethics application, which is going to blow you out of the water in terms of time. So, yeah, make sure that you think round that. Corey, that was a great definition. I loved it. What about Arizo?
Yeah, the same
Explain to me what you think action research is in your own words.
Yeah, like last time we talked about it, it's just about finding flaws or anything that you need to improve in yourself as a teacher and conducting the research based on that. So it's mostly for those who are becoming a teacher and those who want to improve themselves as becoming a good teacher in the future.
Sure. One of the things that the first big video on it goes into, I think, is the fella, he encourages teachers to develop a habit of mind, a whole way of life. You can't help yourself researching yourself all the time because you always want to improve. It's not something you're going to do now for this term and then never again. I'm trusting it's going to become a routine that you never teach a lesson without the idea of measuring its effectiveness and how can you therefore improve it next time. Don't ever get complacent that this is, you know, oh, I'm going to be doing this for the next 25 years. Just never think about that. It's going to be an improve. So that's what you've got to think about. Now, I was having to think before today's session, which I was thinking we probably, if you don't mind, for my own sanity, I wouldn't mind aiming for about half an hour. So basically get any burning questions you can throw at me in the next half hour. I've been thinking about how we're going to progress each of you, and not just the ones on the screen, but those of you who aren't there yet. I would like to put the ball in your court, if you know what I mean by that. You've got to drive this thing. So, oh yeah, this is what I was going to say. If you can start penning on your computer screen a rough, very rough and ready title. Maybe if you, so you're thinking about an email to me, okay? You're thinking about an email, and this is my proposal so far. Now, I would be really reluctant if you don't give me that. I would prefer you to be bombarding me with short emails with, here's my proposal, and I think it's designed to hit this, this, and this. What do you think, Jim? Okay, we'll have a look at that. And you've got to push me to make sure I get to all those emails, okay? I really would love you to be in the driving seat. When we're fine-tuning a title or a proposed title, you've then got to be doing that in one foot, but the other foot, you've got to be going to EBSCOhost and researching that topic. What have other people done in the realm of education to improve that in their life? Now, the chances of you finding somebody else's research on themselves, somebody else's actual research, which is exactly the same topic as you, is practically going to be non-existent. But you're going to find people somewhere in the world who've done a research project that is similar. And hopefully you'll find 2 or 3 which are similar. And therefore you'll be able to look at what their research methodology has been, what sort of data they've collected, and hey, you'll be getting ideas as to how to craft your own project. So on the one hand, you're getting your own proposal up and making it yours and getting me to approve it. And on the other hand, you're going out there into EBSCOhost and you're researching. Never say you've done a literature review. You've done a small literature review, because it will never be a full literature review of a topic. Does that all make any sense, folks? I see some nods. Thank you. So, okay, so, I mean, we can't really, we could, it would be very long-winded and not so beneficial, I don't think, if we were to try and take each person's project and unpack it together. We can do a bit of that, but we can't do it for the whole group on video. That's not going to work. We're going to have to make sure that we use email for that. So, shoot. What are your questions?
I'll start.
There you go.
Looking into the feedback which I received for my second prac, and also I went to my observation journal, and I was reading, and then I was kind of like jotting down what my flaws were during my first and second prac, and I was comparing them so that I can just come up with a topic for the research. So finally, I found that nonverbal communication would be something that I would look into and how I would improve that in my upcoming career, because I was always trying to manage the classroom with my verbal communication, but then my mentor was also telling me that I can use nonverbal communication skills to improve managing the students and also student learning. I did quite a good amount of research on that one, and I found some literature. So I wasn't sure if I'd be able to continue with that, because that was the only thing I found which I really need to look into.
Oh, well, Arisa, you better be careful there. As a newbie teacher, although you're highly experienced, you need to dig deeper and find there will be more flaws. You will, maybe not so much in your character or your delivery of lessons, but in how to craft lessons. I think you'll be learning how to improve those lessons for the rest of your life. If you get to a point of thinking you've made it, I can guarantee you haven't. And somebody, one of your kids or a group of kids in a class one day will blow a hole right through you. That's not going to work. You've got to be always on your guard, always learning for the rest of your life. But let's focus on what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
Your non-verbal communication. I personally, I'm liking this. Let me ruminate a bit more on that. But what do your others think about Arizo and her exploring non-verbal communication?
Like in my last track, the way that I explored nonverbal communication was, and you already saw how it was in the classroom, the way that I tried to manage the behavior of those challenging kids. For example, use of phone in the classroom. They were always trying to get out their phones. And then I found a way to stop them by either looking at them, eye-to-eye contact, or just pointing towards my pocket that it should go into your pocket or bag. So that was sort of like continuing the class, the lesson, while not distracting everyone else from the lesson. And also there was another thing, if you remember, there was a kid who was in the back and who was asleep. At first he refused to write down, and I offered just a piece of paper. It was something, a gesture to encourage them. So there are other ways that I can improve or find ways that I can improve myself and not distracting the classroom while helping them as well, while differentiating as well. Because what I have noticed in high schools, that students don't want to participate in the classroom, especially when they have like high learning students, lower learning students. Those who are in the lower area, they don't want to just talk in the classroom. So I found ways to encourage them as well. In one of the classes, you were not there, I tried to challenge myself by playing with ball, throwing the ball towards each student and getting an answer from them. And that was like something that I didn't know that they'll hit me back or something, but I did challenge myself. It was successful. And my mentor said that you really like challenges. I was like, at least I tried to get some answers. So those were some things which I want to explore more and see if those are going to be successful in the future.
Yeah. Sivan, what do you think about Ariza's idea?
Throwing the ball.
Well, no, just the whole idea of body language.
Oh, I think it's relevant to my area as well, in a way that it's sort of relevant to my area as well, behavior management. Same thing. I had year 10s, students with learning difficulties. It was a focus class, I think they call it, focus group. So all students had like learning difficulties or misbehaved and all that. And that's where I struggled the most. Yeah, different strategies, proximity.
Yeah, but hang on, Sivan, do you think that there is potential for Arizo to do a action research on improving her body language?
Well, you have to be an actor, or in her case, actress.
Sivan, you're not answering my question. Do you think Arizo has got her topic?
Body language.
No. Do you think she has found her proposal?
She's on the right track, I can say.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Michelle, what do you think about Arizo's idea?
Well, honestly, I would say when it comes to action research, you really need to really dig down, keep digging until you find a topic that can cover a lot of aspects. You have I feel where you can find the right literature view, and then you will need evidence. And I'm thinking about what will be the data collection and a non-verbal thing. That is my
Okay. So in regards to that, I already did a feedback, like I
okay.
got my feedback at the end of my placement because I wanted to be sure that
Mhm,
what I did in my last prac was successful. So I already did a like
mhm,
feedback review from those 3 different groups that I was teaching, different age groups, year 8, year 9, and
mhm,
11. So
mhm,
based on that, I already know what areas I had to work on and if the kids approve that or not, because the way that I tried each classroom
mhm,
to be like based on their age limits, age groups, I wanted it to be more engaging,
mhm,
more like creative.
mhm,
Each class had a unique theme, a
mhm.
unique like way of going towards like
Hang on, Arizo. The thing that I think Michelle has just prompted for me is you have to have something that you can measure and you can get data. And yes, you've done a survey, but the whole, if I may go on to talk about the, I think it's called the inductive cycle. You've got to create a scenario that I am going to do this now that I wasn't doing before, and I'm going to measure the impact of this scenario, and if you like, go through a cycle and measure the outcome from that cycle. The result of that will be, yeah, it worked, it's okay, it did this, it may be 75%, but really, if we tweak this, and this, it will be even better the next time. So in action research, a really full-blown action research is one where you go through many, many cycles. In this project, all you're going to do is set up one. It's almost as if you're going to do the first preparatory circuit of a playing field. You're going to just try it once. Whereas the rest of your life, you might be trying it and trying it and trying it. So don't expect you're going to succeed and build everything into your life on this first time round. It won't be perfect. And that's one of the beauties of this action research project. You end up with loads of gaps. Oh, if only, then I could, it would be so much better if. So you end up with a list of what I should have done. That doesn't mean to say your action research failed. It highlighted what you still need to work on. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
So, Corinne, Tori, where have we got to? Sorry, I'm moving along. Corey, where have we got to now?
Like me personally, or
Yeah, with you. Where have we got to with you?
Well, I mean, I watched a lot of these videos and I feel like I understand the whole concept further. I still am just not sure where to go with it personally, especially with having done my prac already.
I know.
But the only thing I could think of right now was, a question I had. The Action Research UK video, there was a few different ones they talked about, and they were doing it all within their school. And there was one particular teacher in there that developed a pack based on what she was having to do with her new students coming in from overseas, and she was having to repeat a lot of stuff over and over again, and it was just, for her, it was a need that she had. So it wasn't necessarily like a way she taught, like, I need to get better at this, but it was more like, I need this resource, I need something to help me with this. Like, is that something we can look at, maybe? If it's like, okay.
That's okay.
It's still something that would be personal, because it would be something that I would need based on what to do. I don't know. It's just a question.
No. That's a perfectly fair comment to make. Originally I would back off a little.
Yeah.
Because of the tendency I've had over the years of students to to go and research how, I don't know, how atomic number is taught or something. No, it's not a research topic out there. It's a research topic. What can I do? How can I apply theory? How can I teach this better? It's definitely got to be personal. Otherwise, it's not an action research. May I mention personal participation or research? You are the participant in your own research. And because you're the participant of your own research, that has intrinsic potential issues, because you can be so unobjective when it comes to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily see as you would if you were observing or measuring somebody else. If you're measuring the kids' performance, you know, scores, fine. Doing a survey of the kids, yeah, that's objective, that's out there. You're not involved. But when you're actually observing yourself, and if it's a reso, you're observing her behaviors, her own behaviors, it's jolly difficult. Really difficult. So be aware of participant bias, if you like, in your own research, but then you've got to be involved in your own research. Now, I've got a few other things on my brain I want to share. So, participant observation. Oh man. While I'm thinking, somebody throw a question at me. It's gone out of my head now. Oh, no. Corey, come back. Corey, come back, Corey. Your issue of being out of the school now because you did your placement earlier in the year. Therefore, what are you going to do? Tell me. And I'm praying like crazy and got my fingers crossed. Are you still in touch with the teachers in that school?
Yes.
Right. Well, therefore, you could set up interviews with them, couldn't you?
With the teachers?
Yes.
Yes.
I either do it digitally like this, or if you're allowed to, go in the school. Right. So what I'm saying is, when you go and interview other teachers, maybe other teachers who've seen you teach,
right,
you could, that's a perfectly legit means of data gathering. You're gathering qualitative research by interviewing these people who've known you teach. Now, that could give you a baseline to start from. You could interview teachers who've done an approach that you want to emulate, and maybe in a different school, it wouldn't matter. Do you know anybody who's introduced textiles into a school, for example?
No.
Well, that's where you'll get really creative on EBSCOhost, and you will see where textiles has come into a school curriculum. You might find something really weird and wonderful in Turkey, for example, in which case, wow, you will be, may I predict, you will spend hours researching, banging your head on the table. This is terrible, I'm getting nowhere. But then you'll get it. You'll just find that gold, and it may take hours, I pray it doesn't, but you eventually will. You'll find that paper or papers where all the dots join together. Maybe it's not textiles, maybe it's another thing, introducing motor vehicle maintenance or something. The whole question of something tactile, and how does that connect with kids? I mean, yes, you're talking about your passion for textiles, but you may get some research from another area, which is easily transferable into textiles. Okay. Subhan, Michelle.
Yep.
Me or Subhan? Who's first?
Michelle, you go first.
About my topic. Dr. Jim?
Go for it. You've got a few minutes. Keep talking.
Well, yesterday when I was going through the action research, I think I relate to you when it comes to action research. What I have found, it is more about discovering myself, what I need to work on, and then I have to develop a strategy to reach there or to work on that thing. So that will be, it's actually you think about it, you write about it, you develop a strategy, you gather the evidence, and then you draw a conclusion. Okay, this is what people have been doing so far, and this is how I will relate that evidence. So my topic, it's quite a broad one. What I have, very very raw thing that I have jotted down was creating teaching style, creative teaching style with the optimum involvement of students and elevating individual students' potential. Because this is what I thought I was lacking in when I said about creating teaching styles, or when my head of the department was sitting with mentor teacher in my class and said, Michelle, you are so you're so simple, but the good thing was that you engaged the kids. Now when I'm talking about this thing, so I'm thinking about that one glove doesn't fits all, which I was trying to do in my first preg. And then I realized that the class was of it was year 8 class, and or maybe year 9 class, I forgot. It was a class of mixed abilities, where I realized there was a gifted student, there was a one talented, and then there was a one low level student. So I was trying to reach all of them, but then I realized I don't have enough creativity for all of them. Where, like you last time, you like in TPS you said you need to always do annotations on your lesson plans. Okay, what did I do for this kid today? What did I do for this kid today? So this is what, and when you do that, when you have strategy for, or you're planning for each student, you, as a teacher, I remember you once said that your goal should be to reach the student who is sitting at the back of the class, every corner of the class. So I think that will also include working on teacher and on my pace as well, because my mentor said, Michelle, you need to work on your pace. So when you're working on
Sorry,
the
on your what?
on your pace.
Oh, speed. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
speed. So
yeah.
also, but pace here, I'm thinking about that, how I'm developing the interest of the students. Like if my interest in a lesson is here and students are here, what I'm trying to do through my techniques or lesson planning is to lower this gap, to eliminate my aim is to eliminate the gap, but at the same time, I'm also trying to work on the student teacher relationship, because in one or the other way, these all things are interlinked.
Well, look, I personally find this whole session highly stimulating. You've all got incredible ideas, and you're incredibly articulate, if I might say so, in terms of, which is, I think, half the battle. You've got to be able to articulate
Yeah.
what is an issue and how you're going to strategize around that. And you're all doing incredible. On yours, Michelle, it is a very broad topic at the moment.
Yes.
And you've got to drill down and get that sharper. It's a bit too general at the moment. You will get the problem with a general one is that how on earth can you do it all? You can't. You've got a really limited 8,000 words. It's really small. You've got a very short amount of time. You've somehow got to do this at great speed. And I was going to stress to you tonight, please, your timeline. Get a calendar out, work out the dates. You've basically got not even 2 months.
Yes.
It's not even 2 months. It's ridiculously short. And you've got to be on steroids, all of you.
And I have my placement as well in between.
It's absolutely ridiculous the pace that we're trying to do this. But you've got to get a timeline resolved, get those proposals up, and by this week, I would argue you all need to be in literature review, see what's been written about your proposed area. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I'm intrigued. What's that on your wall behind you, Michelle?
Well, that's a stitching that I done when I was in India. That's a craft activity of mine.
You'll have to show that to Corey.
Sure, I'll take it off. Nothing, just some teddies. This is called long stitch that I did.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We used to do when I was in India, when kids will get, my uni kids will do, okay, we are bored today, okay, let's do some crafts. So I used to teach them this as well.
Well, look, if you enjoy craft,
Yes.
and maybe you and Corey need to talk to each other,
Sure.
is there a way that you can bring craft into your pedagogy? You see, it would be great for you to understand what it was about your teaching that was so engaging. I think it's because you genuinely cared for all the kids. Now, tick, you've got a genuine, you're full of integrity. What you say is what you are, and you put your whole heart and soul into it. So that's why the kids, warmed to you. To want to improve is just fantastic. How you're going to improve is the $1,000 question.
Yeah. And Dr. Jim, for data collection, I was wondering, since we videoed ourselves for some lessons, for some of the assignments, can we talk to our, like with Deborah Walls, she was my English teacher, she saw me in that lesson, if she can give me some feedback or my previous teachers.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Great idea. And talk to as many people that know you as possible at this time to try and, if you even voicing your proposal to others, you will find that, that sounds stupid. And they may tell you, that sounds stupid. What if you say this? Oh, okay. Oh. Whereas if you're thinking it all in your head, it's nowhere near as good as if you sound it out to people. Okay? And that's what we've done tonight. And I've really appreciated that. Look, I'm going to kick you out.
Oh, no.
Sivan. Come on.
All right. So, again, it's very similar to Arazu, and it's the classroom management. But I was thinking I never came across this deficiency in my management skills until I ended up in this school. So given the context, and that backstory, which I'm not going to talk about it, but the school itself was a lower socioeconomic, the class, lots of misbehaved students and low literacy, which might be, if I'm going to be teaching in the future, hopefully this might happen in all the schools that are, so It's going to be a challenge. So context is irrelevant. So it sort of revealed a weakness that I have. But again,
hang on, what's your weakness? What have you identified?
I think students on that particular day, everyone has a good day or bad day, but I think that they sense that I cannot control the class.
Right. So,
and that's what the supervisor said as well, that you have to change, because everything was new. Misbehaved students, low literacy, year 10, 35 people. It was like, okay, come and get me. Yeah, so I've never came across this issue, but that might happen in the future again. Maybe I wasn't feeling good that day or not, I don't know, but that's a weakness, so it happened. So that's one issue, that how to manage a classroom again without the need to shout, which I did, but I mean, I never do. But that day I did, and it didn't work. And again, students probably knew that, yeah, he doesn't normally shout anyway. So, so I think it's a personality thing. But in terms of research and action research, how to do this, and also how to collect data if I'm to do this research, and also the methodology. So I'm now a team leader. I can have like 10 people that I have to deal with. That can be an opportunity to sort of interview them and say, okay, how do you like my leadership style, which is irrelevant to teaching, maybe. But that's an opportunity. That might be a methodology. Data collection would be whatever they say, because I'm not going to be at school. I'm not sure when. So yeah, I have a sort of an idea, but I'm not sure how I can go and write.
Yeah, but
8,000
to say your project is how do I improve my classroom management?
Well, it's too broad again.
Far too big. Far too
Yeah.
big. So when you were talking a few minutes ago about the kids knew that you hadn't got them, I'm intrigued about that, because that is a very precise part of classroom management.
It was very, it was a feeling like I felt that I lost them. So
I know. So the point of the matter is how to keep them or gain them and keep them in a lesson. How to gain their respect, attention, engagement, and then how to maintain that throughout the lesson. So it's, my picture in my mind is a little bit like you're going fishing, and you know, when do you get the hook in? Have you got a strategy for getting the hook in? If you go into a lesson and you start, and it's just written all over you that you wished you weren't there, and you were bored to tears, and you were talking in a monotone, and they couldn't hear you at the back of the class, you haven't got them, and you haven't got a hope of getting them. I'm not saying you did that, but I'm just, you know, whatever it is, I believe every lesson needs a hook. And at the beginning of a lesson is absolutely crucial for launching that line and grabbing their attention.
regardless of the context of the class.
Regardless of the context of the class. Obviously, it's a different shaped hook for different classes. And you can't expect the same hook to work in every class. You've got to have a whole swag of different ones that you will reel out for different situations.
So what are you saying? It might be an engagement issue then, not a.
Well, it is, because if you've got the kids engaged, you don't need to worry about classroom management. It's a given. You'll have it. You have it in spades. And look, it's 10 past 8 in my state, and I'm going. I have too much to do tonight, and so do you. Look, short emails. Let's besiege me with emails until we get the precise proposal done, and you're getting into research. God bless. Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.